was a time when if you arrived somewhere with a heavy suitcase, you carried it yourself up the stairs. You felt the weight in your arm, in your shoulder, in your breath. Today, life is designed in such a way that you don't have to carry much at all. Not physically, not mentally, not emotionally. And that sounds like progress, right? Today, with the AI and digital devices, we have achieved a great ease. But there is a biological tax to this. If we stop carrying the weight, we also stop building the strength. And so, by removing the friction from our lives, we have started to weaken our most important and supportive human skill. To understand why easy can be dangerous, let's think about a small thread of tissue in your brain. Its name is the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. But forget the name, it's too complicated. But it is so relevant that scientists have defined it as the will to live. The interesting thing is that it grows only when you do something that you don't want to do. So, for example, if you love running and you engage in a long run, it doesn't grow. But if you hate the cold and you step into it, then it grows. And with it, your will to live. And yes, our current behavior is becoming a race to the bottom of effort. We use AI to skip the struggle of learning. We use dating sites and social platforms to avoid the awkwardness of connecting with people, heart to heart. And we use convenience to bypass the discomfort of becoming someone better. You see, the consequence is not simply that we save time. The deeper risk is that we become less trained for reality. You would wonder, what do you mean? It's very simple. When life hits you with loss, with failure, with uncertainty, or tragedy, of which AI cannot solve for us, we need strength to actually overcome adversity. And so, we think that happiness comes from ease, but science and experience say something different. For example, this is the arrival fallacy. What does it mean? It teaches us that if we go straight to the goal, we are not necessarily happy. The reward is not going straight to the goal, but the pursuit of the goal, the effort, the mastery, and the transformation. For example, the United States preamble of the Constitution says that it is based on three principles: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It doesn't say life, liberty, and happiness. It says the pursuit because that is the difference that it makes. So if we use AI or comfort to skip the pursuit, we are going to skip happiness as well. Have you ever experienced suffering? I mean the suffering that comes from training yourself, from discipline, from seeking the truth, from waiting when you want things right away, or to stay faithful to something important, even though you could be easier to get out. I believe that happiness is generated right there. Not in suffering itself, but in the transformation made possible by a certain kind of suffering. When I moved from here, actually Perugia, to the United States, I thought I was privileged. Oh my God, this is wonderful. And as soon as I arrived, I found back-to-back challenges and disorientation and loneliness. And I felt that I embarked in something bigger than myself. And in fact, I thought, this is the wrong decision. Let me give you an idea. Thanksgiving week comes, first semester. 1 week off, wonderful, right? Well, I filled my entire apartment with academic papers, printed papers, hundreds of them, hundreds. Why? Because I was supposed to submit 3 papers for 3 different courses in 2 weeks of a level high enough to be published in a scientific journal. And, I could barely write an essay in English. Can you imagine a scientific paper? And so everything was filled. Even the bathroom was filled with paper. I didn't sleep for more than 3 hours for 3 weeks. And so eventually I said, okay, I can't do it. I just can't. It's too much for me. So I picked up the phone and I called a travel agency and I inquired, I want to go back home, period. How often did you want out of a situation? Truly. When your mind says, enough is enough, protect yourself. I believe that life is not asking you if you want to continue or not. It is asking which version of you will lead. Is the one that seeks protection or the one that senses that beyond that effort, there is a new dimension? A dimension that belongs to you, a dimension that is you. I didn't go back, and I found out that I could stay inside a challenge bigger than myself. And by doing that, I had the opportunity of meeting the new version of myself. You see, unhappiness is not really based on failure. Unhappiness, it is arriving at the end of life and sensing that there was a greater version of you waiting for you. But you didn't have the courage to embrace it, to embody it. Suffering is temporary, but unlived potential is gonna become regret for a lifetime. And so there is an image that describes this. It is as if between you and your true self, there is a river, okay? And you spend time on the more comfortable shore of life, okay? And you see the other side, but you notice that on the other side, there is more truth. There is more meaning. There is more you. And you can only get there by stepping into the water. And the water is cold, and the current is strong, and the effort is real. But that's exactly the point I want to make. The best part of you is not found on the comfortable shore of life. It is found on the other side of suffering. And this is where artificial intelligence comes into play. You see, I don't believe AI is a demon or is the enemy, but I do believe that it is an accelerator of an ancient temptation of ours, avoiding suffering, pain, and effort. For the first time in history, we can get immediate answers, advice, solutions, understanding, support, compliance. I mean, this is incredible, 24/7. But it's also risky because the construction of the self stems from uncertainty, stems from experimenting with life. When you try, you fail, you try again, you doubt, you test, and you grow. So if you receive an answer right away, well, yeah, you do receive information, but you're missing transformation. And so the risk is not technological, it is existential. So what can we do? Now we start working on ourselves because I'm going to give you 5 options here to really stimulate that part of your brain that is engaging your will to live. We need to use effort as the result of a conscious choice. the effort of going to the gym when you don't feel like it, the effort of saying no even though you want approval from that person, the effort of eating in a way that is consistent with the health and the body you desire. Here we go. Number 1, the forge or drain audit. What is it? Well, when something gets tough, please do not ask immediately, how can we stop it? Why don't we ask better questions? And these questions are about, what is this pain asking me? What is it doing to my body, to my dignity, and to my future especially? And should I seek protection or should I endure? Because you see, if it is shrinking you, if it is disconnecting you from your true self, then it's not noble pain, and protect yourself. Ask for help. But if it is shrinking you and actually stretching your courage, stretching your discipline, then do not run. Stay with it at least to see what it is building in you. Number 2, the daily anti-comfort repetition. So every day I'm asking you to get engaged in a small act that requires some effort on your end. Something specific. I'll give you a few examples. Take a cold finish to your shower. At least 5 seconds. Can you do it? Okay. Can you write for 10 minutes before checking your phone? And can you sit in contemplation for a couple of minutes before asking AI for help? So the rule is very simple. 1 repetition of chosen discomfort before you indulge in comfort. And the goal is not to suffer more, of course. The goal is to prove to yourself that your impulses do not control your life. Number 3, the meaning contract. Before a hard action, write 1 sentence. I'm asking you 1 sentence that connects the cost of this action to the person you are becoming. So, I'm having this difficult conversation because I am becoming someone who lives in truth. I'm training when I don't feel like because I'm becoming someone I can trust. Pain without meaning, it's punishment. But pain linked to your best identity becomes a bridge. The sentence you write is simply a contract with your future self. Number 4, rituals. Why do I say that not good intentions? Good intentions are great, but they are based on mood. Rituals are based on design. And so, choose 1 cue and 1 action. I'm explaining it to you. After I brush my teeth, I write 1 sentence about what gives meaning to my life. Or, before I open my laptop, I breathe deeply for 60 seconds. After dinner, I take a 10-minute walk. Then leave visible evidence, a mark, a check on your calendar, or a pair of sneakers by the door. This ritual transforms what is invisible, an invisible idea of change, into physical proof that you are becoming something better. Last option, 5, the coherence scorecard. At night, ask yourself, where did I choose comfort over truth today? Where did I stay when I wanted to escape? What is 1 small challenge that I will face tomorrow? And then, what you do, you give yourself a coherence score, 1 to 5, very simple. Not to judge yourself, but just to train your attention, because what you measure, you notice, and what you notice, you can change. This metric shifts happiness from comfort to coherence. And here we are, closing. In the end, happiness is not just constant euphoria. It is a feeling that your life has a direction and you're sticking to it. When we will be looking back at our lives, we will not necessarily remember the times in which everything was easy. We'll remember the moments in which we could have gone back, and instead we stayed. The moments when we could have given in, and instead we crossed the river. And perhaps happiness is precisely this, is to arrive at the end of your journey and be able to say truthfully, I did not back away. Thank you.